Impressive. Most impressive.
Hello guys, Darth Vader coming back at you again with yet another video, and of course, as you can guess, today's video is going to be yet another reaction video. This time we will be reacting to 3 videos from Wansee Entertainment. Link will be provided in the description down below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we, guys? We've all had those before, right?
There was a beautiful girl in our school. However, there was a rumor about her. It was that all men she dates would die. However, she was not arrested by the police as there was no evidence that she killed the men. There were all kinds of horrendous rumors about her. Therefore, in spite of her beautiful looks, all people avoided her. Then one day, she asked me out on a date. I asked her why she asked me out, and she replied, "There's a place I really want to go with you." Eventually,
Okay, but like, why me of all people? You clearly see there are other people around me who might be more interested and more appealing for you to ask out. Why me?
I ended up dating her, and I fell for her. I noticed myself rationalizing. I was persuading myself that nothing would happen even if I date her, and it's all just nonsense. That's how we
You're fucked.
developed a relationship, and we always spent happy days together. Then one day she asked me, "Don't you want to go to heaven?" I asked her what she is suddenly talking about. She replied, "I want to go to heaven with you. If I only get your permission, I can go there even now." Her eyes weren't joking. I was so flustered that I asked why, but she kept saying, "I prayed to God every day and heard him say that he has prepared a home in heaven for me. Let's go to heaven together. The two of us can live happily there."
Nah, go by your damn self.
She handed me.
I'm sorry, guys. Suicide is nothing to joke with, but nah, when something like this comes up, you definitely need to say no and just get the hell out of there.
A drink. I could guess what that was. I got up and ran away. Then she cried out, "We are citizens of heaven." I blocked
I mean, I'm not dead, so I'm not a citizen of heaven yet.
her number, and I never contacted her again. But a few weeks later,
Was that supposed to say 911 or like what the fuck?
I got a call from the police.
Okay.
It was that she had been arrested for murdering a man. The man died after drinking a drink she gave him, and when he was dead, he was dressed in white. When the police arrived at the scene, she continued to pray next to the body, then said with a very happy expression, "God told me my boyfriend just arrived in heaven." The police arrested her on the spot for murder, and she yelled at the police, "Officer, he's not dead. He's in heaven. God told me that he has prepared a home for him in heaven. If you go there, you'll get to see him. It's true."
I'm gonna need a little more than that. Like, did she get mental help? Like, what the fuck? Because I'll tell you this right now. I don't know what God you're praying to, but you're out of your fucking mind. He doesn't need you to do his work for him. I'm open-minded. I don't have a particular religion, and that's something I don't feel like talking about in today's video. So please don't comment about which religion I should be into in my comments, please. I have my own preferences. It's just me. I'm not gonna force my beliefs onto y'all. Please don't do the same to me. Or please do the same by not forcing your religion onto me. I would greatly appreciate it. I believe they encounter scary
I
shit.
work as a detective in a special investigations unit. It's been over 8 years since this incident happened, but it remains the most memorable story of a criminal I've ever encountered. His name was Chase, and he was apprehended for brutally assaulting people. Due to the numerous accounts of his physical violence, he had been in and out of prison multiple times. So when I asked him why he enjoyed hurting people, his response was truly disturbing. Officer, have you ever hit someone? Well, for me, hitting people is the most enjoyable thing. No matter who they are, they all start off with an arrogant attitude towards me. But as I keep hitting them, they eventually kneel before me. No one is an exception. It's just a matter of how long they can endure. Eventually, they all end up bowing down to me. Even an officer like you. If we were to meet on the street, you'd kneel before me. But it's so...
Son, I promise you, one of these days you're gonna start brutally assaulting the wrong person and you're gonna end up flat on your back.
amusing to make anyone kneel before me. It's more entertaining than any movie or game. He reminisced about those moments with a disturbingly joyful expression. As he stared at me, his gaze felt as if he was looking right through me, and it made me extremely uncomfortable. In a moment of courage, I grabbed him by the collar, and suddenly his eyes transformed, exuding a chilling intensity. He glared at me as if he wanted to kill me and whispered, "You're going to die for this." I felt a wave of intense fear, and I instinctively averted my gaze from his eyes. In any case, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. But after those 4 years passed, he came looking for me. Somehow he knew my home address and stood at the entrance of my house. He approached me with a bright smile and exclaimed, "Officer, kneel before me." I was shocked and anger surged within me, but at the same time, knowing what kind of psychopath he was, a sense of terror overwhelmed me. I had a gut feeling that emotional confrontation would only lead to more trouble, so I tried to remain as calm as possible. "You want to go back to prison again?" I asked. He laughed and replied, "It's all right. That place was quite livable, you know. If I can just experience the thrill of making you kneel before me, I'd go back any time." He assumed a posture as if he was about to strike me with his fist. I felt my legs weaken instantly. Fortunately, at that moment, our neighbor James happened to pass by and greeted me. I asked him for help, and Chase froze for a moment before shouting one last thing at me and leaving. "I'll come back next time, and then I'll definitely make you kneel before me." I was engulfed in fear. From that point on, I carried a gun with me at all times, and a few days later, when Chase appeared near my house, I aimed the gun at him. Startled, he asked me why I was doing this, and retreated once again. Since then, I constantly scanned my surroundings, fearing that he might appear. Occasionally, I could catch glimpses of him watching me from a distance, but he never approached me again. I haven't heard any news about him since then, but he might be out there assaulting others. However, Chase, I hope I never have to see you again.
When you think you're that high and mighty, you definitely need to be brought down a peg or two. What's another one we'll check out? The Human Zoo. Nah, dude, no. We'll take a look at this one.
I was a little younger than what I am today. To be exact, I'm 37 years old now. So I was around 18 at the time. To this day, I'm freaked out by it and have recurring nightmares about it. And I still feel like my life is on the line, even though nobody believes it. So this is why you should never trust what you see. I took a pet sitting job over the summer from an elderly couple. They looked around 80 years old, so I didn't think it would be sketchy or bad in any way. It was watching a cat while they left for a 3-day vacation. All they said was to feed the cat every 7 to 9 hours. It was easy money. So fast forward to the day. I go to their house. I gather all my stuff out of my car, like flashlights so I can read. Their house is kind of dark and they don't want the lights on. And some extra clothes. Once I walked in there, there was this musty smell. This was the first weird thing that happened. It was strange because their house looked clean and tidy, but it was so faint I brushed it off. They soon showed me around the house.
I mean, when you have a cat, certain things tend to, so.
It was a decently sized house with 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. It had carpet as floors, and the decorations were quite modern despite the owner's age. The old woman took me aside and showed me where I'd be sleeping. It was a nice room, but the musty smell was slightly worse in this room, and the carpet looked lighter than the rest of the carpet around the house. But yet again, I brushed it off, like an idiot. And one of the more important parts of this story, they told me, was that they had a son, and he lived in this house too. And his room was in the basement. They told me that he never came out of his room.
I'm sorry, but if you have somebody who lives in your house, then why can't you just get them to feed the cat?
And they told me that his room was off limits because he was sensitive. Anyway,
Okay.
30 minutes later they leave, and this kid and I are here alone. It goes smoothly for a long time, I'd say 2 hours, until something happens. Now, I know the rule of 3 red flags and then you're out. But again, I was a stupid teenager desperate for money, so I overlooked things until it was too late. I was watching TV on the bottom floor when I heard a loud slam from the basement. Now, usually I'd be scared, but I know that her son was down there, so I looked past it even though it was extremely off-putting. Well, fast forward a couple minutes later, and I hear the basement door slam open. I'm confused by this, because if he supposedly lives here, why would he feel the need to slam the door? Again, I let it go because I don't know him, so I don't have the right to judge him.
Right.
But because I was a very stupid teenager, I decided I would go check on him regardless of what the old lady said. So, I get up, try not to make too much noise, and I walk to the basement door. And lo and behold, the door was wide open, and the stairs leading down were completely blacked out from the absence of light.
I mean,
no
yeah.
windows, no light anywhere. So at that moment, I assumed that he had come up from the basement to get a snack. So I headed to the kitchen. But before I tell more, I didn't hear him going into the kitchen. I just assumed he did. I turned the corner, and I saw him standing there. He had dark brown hair with brown eyes. He looked to be African American in his early 20s and was quite handsome, so my judgment was down quite a bit. I took a light step into the kitchen, and he flipped his head around and looked at me. Nothing was too weird about this because he looked normal, other than the fact that he didn't talk or make any sound on the matter, but what did confuse me was that his hands had 2 things, a long rope and a kitchen knife, and right after he looked at me, he whispered, "Basement." I'll admit, it didn't strike me as suspicious because this was a smallish town and the year was 1990, so there weren't many defining factors to know about bad people, like stalkers or killers. And because the old people didn't strike me as the type to harbor a wanted criminal, all I did was walk away. So, unlike that phrase, curiosity killed the cat, in this case, curiosity saved the cat. As I was walking past the basement, I remembered what he said, and something finally lit up inside me, telling me something was off. And it all had something to do with this basement. So, I got my flashlight I thankfully brought with me and walked down the stairs. It wasn't a very big basement. It had 1 couch in the corner and a coffee table, and then the bedroom right next to it. But the defining factor was that the smell was overwhelmingly bad. It smelled like rotten eggs mixed with that musky scent throughout the house. But I bared through it because I was far too curious on what it could be, that I forgot what it couldn't be. Good. I opened the door to find a guy laying on the ground with a pool of blood surrounding him. He was wrapped head to toe in rope, and the kitchen knife was stabbed into the wall. I was horrified, and my eyes teared up from the strong fumes. There were bugs and maggots everywhere, but then I recognized something that will haunt me forever. The person I saw was the same person I had seen in the kitchen. Same shirt, same pants, same everything. I was so horrified that I stood there in a daze until a maggot jumped on me and broke me out of it. But let me tell you, I never ran out of a house faster in my life. I lived too far away to run to, so I knocked on the farthest house I could before passing out from exhaustion and told them what happened. Apparently, the elderly couple killed 3 people in the bedroom I was staying in. And that's why the carpet was lighter. They bleached the entire room. The musty smell wasn't as bad in there because they killed them hours before I got there and stuffed them in the closet. Their first victim was their son, who they tied up and killed 5 days before anything else happened. I can't explain what happened in that house, but I'm thankful that I went down there when I did. I also don't know what happened to the elderly couple, but I hope they got what they deserved.
Well, the fact that they killed their own flesh and blood, it tells you just what kind of person they are. But yeah, wow. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Link will be provided to Wansee Entertainment in the description down below. And let me know what you guys think, what your opinions are on some of these videos. But again, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on the notification icon so you don't miss any videos that I may upload. If you like this video, please leave a like. And yeah, that's going to do it. So always remember, your destiny lies with me. Obi-Wan knew this to be true.